This is Shelley Craft coming to you live on SNNLive. We're at the Sprott Symposium 2018 in Vancouver, BC, Canada. I have with me today Nolan Watson, Sandstorm Gold Royalties. It's a publicly traded company. I'm going to give you two symbols. It's SAND on the NYSE, and it's SSL on the TSX. Welcome to SNNLive.
Well, thanks for having me, Shelley.
My pleasure to have you. Now let's get started with a brief overview of the company, and we'll go from there.
So Sandstorm Gold Royalties is, as its name suggests, a gold royalty company. So effectively what we do is purchase royalties on gold mines all over the world. We have 188 royalties from every country in the world you can imagine, and we basically just collect checks from all of those mining companies as they mine their mines. So we have a huge amount of cash flow. We're debt-free. We're a billion-dollar market cap company. It's been fun building it.
What's the history behind the company?
So it started about 10 years ago by myself and David Oram. We're both previously worked at a company called Wheaton Precious Metals. We're the first two employees there, in fact, and they're the largest silver streaming silver royalty company in the world. And so we've just been building it for 10 years and buying royalties.
What's unique about Sandstorm?
Well, I think one of the keys is we've put a huge focus on technical due diligence. So the way we believe that we make money for investors is that you buy royalties that have huge exploration upside. And to understand that, I mean, I'm a finance guy by background, but to understand the huge exploration upside, we have to have world-class geologists. We have some of the best geologists in the world, and we spend a lot of money on an incredible technical team. And so when we buy a royalty, we're really invested in finding those ones that have that huge exploration upside, and that's what makes investors money.
This is not an easy job to do, especially if you're going to meet these companies in exploration stage and they haven't started development yet. Am I right?
Yes, certainly at the exploration stage, it's harder, but that's where it also gets more fun. The vast majority of the capital, though, that we invest, about 85% of the capital we invest buying royalties, is in assets that are either already producing or are going into development right now. So we have huge amounts of scientific information and databases that we go through before we make those investments.
Nolan, give me an idea of some of your criteria to choose your investments.
So when we're looking at a prospective investment, we look at a lot of things. We look at political jurisdiction and political risk. We look at the quality of the counterparty, what's the reputation of the management team, their ability to execute on their project, what is the financing capability of that team, is this going to be a well-financed, well-run mine? But then we really hone in on the criteria associated with the technical of the aspect. Is this going to be a low-cost producing gold mine? Is it going to make a lot of money? Because we want to invest in healthy operations. Healthy operations make money. They take that money and they invest it into drilling and exploration, and it's that exploration that gets us more ounces, more cash flow for free, and that's how our investors make money.
What's your competitive advantage?
Well, our competitive advantage is a combination of things, but one of the key aspects is we have what I believe to be the best technical team of scientists, geologists, and engineers in the mining industry, period. We spend a huge amount of money on that, and we're very, very proud of the quality of that team. And that allows us to get the insights required to find those assets that have that huge exploration upside. And I would say one of our other competitive advantages is the experience of the management team. We've actually been doing streams and royalties for just about as long as anybody else in the mining business has been doing it. And I personally have been associated with more stream and royalty financings than just about everybody else.
What's your background?
My background, I'm a business background. Started off, I was valedictorian of my high school and valedictorian in the Institute of Chartered Accountants. When I went through that, I got a honors degree in business. I did a CFA on the finance side, and I was one of the first employees at a company called Goldcorp, which is now one of the largest gold mining companies in the world. And to this day, I still hold the world record for being the youngest CFO ever of a New York Stock Exchange listed company. I did it when I was 26.
Gee, I know the oldest stockbrokers. So let's hone in on something really important. You're a public company, so only tell me what you can. What are your growth drivers?
So there are really two drivers to growth. One is assets that we've already bought and are being put into production. So that will be cash flow coming on, and we don't have to pay for any of that cash flow. We've already bought those things. So our production and our cash flow is going to double over the next 4.5 years, solely based on those things we've already bought. The second driver of growth is things that we're going to buy. We are absolutely still a growth company. We have huge amounts of cash flow coming in, and we're deploying that on a weekly and monthly basis, acquiring more streams, acquiring more royalties, and just growing the company.
You're almost like an ETF.
Well, very similar to one. One of the benefits that we have opposed to an ETF, though, is that we're able to grow our asset base while right now we're actually buying back our own shares and shrinking our share base. So an ETF, in order for it to grow, it has to take in more money and it grows its share base. We're actually growing our asset base and shrinking our share base at the same time right now.
Let's get your website out for more information, if you would.
Well, you can find out more information at sandstormgold.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nolan Watson, Sandstorm Gold Royalties. It's a publicly traded company, and the symbol is SAND on the NYSE and SSL on the TSX. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNNLive, and we're coming to you live from the Sprott Symposium 2018 in Vancouver, BC, Canada. Nolan, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Shelley.
My pleasure.